Hey, what's going on, guys? It's TrackYT here, or Nick, back with another brand new video. And in today's video, I'm going to show you or give you guys some very useful advanced world edit tips. So without wasting any time, guys, we're going to jump right into our first tip, which is using brushes within Minecraft. So you're probably wondering, if you don't know much about world edit, that's probably why you're on this video, what a brush is in Minecraft. Well, there's a command called /brush. If you just do /brush in chat, it will bring up the list of brushes that you're allowed to use. So to equip a brush in Minecraft, all you have to do is select one of your tools in the game. I prefer to use the shovels just because I don't know why, I just prefer to use the shovels, but what you're doing is you're going to bind the brush command to that said tool. So one of the main uses of using brushes is to create custom terrain. I think a lot of people utilize that mainly for brushes. So what I like to do to make custom terrain using brushes is I like to use the sphere command. So I like to use /brush sphere, and when you put that in, it'll give you in the chat what you need to actually implement. When your pattern means your block and then your radius is how big you want the sphere. So for custom terrain, I like to use sand, and then I like to use probably a 2 or a 3. So we'll start out with a 3. And then the next thing that I guess I really encourage you to use is a mask, which means /mask. What that does is it makes it only affects certain blocks in the game. So when I'm using terrain, I like to /mask air. So now it will only utilize, or I guess it'll change the air. So when I'm placing a brush down like this, it's not going to break any of the grass that it's being placed on. So it allows to only affect the air. So now you literally can use it as a paintbrush and kind of just give yourself a terrain. So let's say we're making a small little curved mountain right here. So I'm literally just going to keep placing. And the reason why I use sand is because it falls and gives that gravity effect. And I can just keep placing all the way around until I get myself a shape that I kind of like. And now what I would suggest, once you have a shape that you kind of like, is using the smooth command. So you do /brush, then just type smooth, and what that does is it's going to create a brush. Probably, I think you can put in a radius if you want. I just do smooth, and then I would also suggest masking out the block that you built your thing with, so sand. And now you can just go ahead and you can just smooth out all of this, and it kind of creates a really nice effect, and it gives out, I guess it just makes the terrain smoother, so that way afterwards you can go ahead and put grass on top of it, or change the sand to stone, or whatever block that you want. And now what we can do is we can use some more world edit by using /1, and we'll select a couple regions to change the block, the sand block that we just used, to dirt or stone or whatever material that we want, to then quickly change it to look more realistic. So we're going to select the point over here for position number 2, and then we're going to type the command in chat /replace, which is basically changing the sand to whatever block we want. So we have to target sand. That's the block that we're changing to whatever block we want to do, and I'm going to change it to stone, and now it changes all that sand we put in to stone. And then another really easy way to do is by putting grass on top of all this, is by doing a really quick command using cylinders, or I guess set regions. So I'm going to use the cylinder command. So what you do is you do /cyl. It's going to tell you what you need to input. So we're going to do sand. We're going to do a radius of like 10, and then we're going to do a height of 1. So now we do that, it's going to fall down, and what we can do is we can just kind of cover this whole area. And the reason why I did a cylinder instead of a selected area is because since I'm building in a flat world, I want to make it so it blends really smoothly. And we can even go back afterwards and add in the /smooth, I guess, brush that we had previously. So I'm just going to keep doing this until I cover the entire top of this. And now we've got this all set up. So what we're going to do now is we're going to replace again, except now instead of replacing the sand, or instead of replacing sand to stone, we're going to replace sand to dirt, and it's going to change all that. And now that we change this dirt, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put grass on top of it. So we're going to select the position over here, position 1, and then we're going to fly all the way over here, try to stay at the same Y coordinate, and we're going to set it to position number 2. Now that we've got position number 2, we're going to do /set, and then we're going to do sand, and it's going to drop a huge thing of sand onto the ground. So now that we have this blanket of sand, we can go ahead and change it to grass. So we'll select a point here. We already have the point selected over there, and then the command is just /replace sand to grass. And it's going to change all this to grass, and it created super quick terrain building really quickly, and we all did this by just using brushes. So another quick brush command that you can use is the brush clipboard. Now this is a wonderful brush for creating custom paths. So what I do is I create I guess a 5x5 path. So the limit in Clipboard is 6x6, but I just go 5x5 because I like an odd number. So we have just a randomized path right here, and what we're going to do is we're going to use this selection right here to copy and paste it and sort of paint it on over there to create a really nice brush. So first you have to do is you have to select it, and you're going to have to go ahead and / copy, and then you're going to have to choose a brush, and you're going to do brush clipboard. Now it's going to be equipped, but you want it to only affect the block you want it to affect. So we only want it to affect the grass. So we'll do mask, and then we'll do grass. Now if you take it over here, we can just click once and it kind of creates it, and then now we can just kind of paint on a little path. Let's say we want it to go over here. We'll come back so it's not so, I guess, copied and pasted. It kind of looks a little more organic, and then we'll go like this. We want the path to kind of just come over this way, and then we'll make it come back. And this is literally the easiest way to make paths. Whenever I make paths in larger builds, this is actually exactly how I do it. I mean, I'll definitely go back and add in custom details so it doesn't look so symmetrical in places, but like, this is the easiest and the fastest way to add paths in Minecraft. So the other brushes I typically don't really use, like the butcher brush, I've never used that. The extinguish brush, I've never really had to use that because I don't really have any worries about fire. Gravity, I don't really use that either, to be honest with you. I don't really know what that brush does. And then the cylinder brush, I just really have no use to create brushes with cylinders. So I really only use the clipboard, the gravity, or the clipboard, the smooth, and the sphere, and that's about it. And I can create immense terrain. I mean, obviously I did this in like all of like 2 minutes, so it's not perfect. So if I was going to build a much larger scale build, I would put a lot more time into it, and I would make it look a lot better. And these brushes are a way to get blocks down very quickly. So if you want a perfected build, you're still going to want to go back in here and hand place blocks and kind of smooth it out, and then use the replace command. And it just, to make a really nice build, you have to do things by hand, but this is a nice way to get a good starting point. So next up, we've got the / set command and the / replace command. You actually just saw me use both of those commands, and you're probably wondering, well, Nick, aren't these pretty basic commands in Minecraft World Edit? Don't a lot of people that use World Edit know how to use these commands? Well, of course, yes, but there's a lot of different things you can do with these commands to really make building a lot easier that a lot of people don't know they can utilize. And what I mean by that is when you're setting and replacing things, you can actually replace with multiple different blocks at once. And what I mean by that is, let's make a region right here. We'll go probably a 5x5 or a 6x6 region, and what we'll do is, let's say we don't want it to be grass anymore, and let's say we want it to be cobblestone, and we want it to be coarse dirt, and let's say andesite. So another tip is there's a button you can hit to actually turn these blocks where it says cobblestone #004. It doesn't normally say that, it just says cobblestone. And the 0004 is the Minecraft block ID, and this makes using World Edit a lot easier if you can find out what the block ID is of all these different blocks. So the button to do that, to be able to see the block IDs, is F3H. I don't know if it's different on a Mac, but on a PC it's F3H. So right now I don't have them. This is probably what your inventory looks like. So you hit F3H, and then now it will show the block ID next to every single block, and I always have that in Minecraft because I really think it's useful to know that. So now that we have the block IDs for cobblestone, coarse dirt, and andesite, what I like to do to make it easiest for me is I type in chat 4, and then I put an enter just so I can do it, and then I'll put 3:1 and then 1:3. So to separate these, you have to put a comma. So we went 3:1, and then we'll put a comma 3 or 1:5. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the / set command before this, and then we're going to do enter, and now it has randomized these to those blocks. And what it's doing when you're putting the commas is, and it's basically taking 100% and dividing it up by the amount of blocks you have. So if we have 4 blocks, it would make each of those 25% of the, I guess, the selection. Since I only did 3, it's making it 33% of the selection, all of them. Now let's say that you wanted one block to be more dominant than the other. So let's say we wanted the cobblestone to be much more dominant than the coarse dirt and the andesite. So what you're going to do is you're actually manually going to put in the percentage. So let's say I wanted it to be 50% cobblestone and 25% coarse dirt, and then I wanted to put in 25% of the andesite. Boom. Now you can see the cobblestone's much more prominent and the other two are pretty much split up 25 and 25%. Now I use this technique in much larger scale builds. For example, we can do it over here. I can show you what I mean, and I typically use the replace command for this, but let's say you didn't like just the grass. So we'll make a selection here, and then we'll go all the way up here, and we'll make another selection. So let's say that we wanted to mix in other than just grass. We wanted to maybe mix in some clay and maybe some podzol and then just our regular grass. But we wanted to keep the grass our dominant trait. So we need to find out what the block IDs of all of these are. So we know it's 159.13, 159.5, 3.2, and then 2. So what we're gonna do in chat is we're gonna do 159.13, and then we're gonna do comma, 159.5, comma, 3:2, comma, and then 2. That's kind of just my way of being able to, I guess, have them written down in chat so I can remember. Because sometimes I'll put in like the first two and then I'll forget what the rest are after reading them off. So that's the easiest way for me to do that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do / replace before it. So we're going to go into our chat, click on it, then we're going to do / replace, and then we're going to target grass, which the colon is, or the block ID is 2, and then we have those spread out, and we'll just press enter. I keep forgetting to do // so you do have to put 2 slashes, and now what it's going to do is it's going to randomize those all with 25%. Now let's say that wasn't perfect and we wanted to make one block more dominant than the other, so we'll do / undo, and now we can play around with the percentages. So let's say that we wanted the grass to be more dominant than the other two. So let's say we wanted the grass to be 40%. So we put the percentage before. So we do 40% and then the block ID. And let's say we wanted the rest of them to be 20%. So we'll go ahead and we'll put 20% in front of all of the remaining ones. And then we'll just press enter. And now you can see that the grass is much more dominant and the podzol is a little bit less dominant. Let's say we still didn't think that was cool. We would do undo, and then we can change the, I guess, the percentage around again. So we went ahead and we changed it around again. We made the podzol 10%. We made the 2 clays 25%, and we made the grass 50%, and now you can see it just gives a nice little texture to the entire build, and it's all by using the replace command. I think most builders use this a lot, and this is the easiest way to, I guess, add really nice texture. And before I knew this command, I had to do all this by hand, and just knowing this command makes building so much faster. And that's one of the great benefits of World Edit, is it doesn't make the build for you, it just makes the building process speed up a lot. So another quick tip is when you're building custom trees, and let's say you wanted to build a custom trunk, you can choose, like, let's say your wool to build your trunk out of. So we'll go up and then we'll just kind of do this, and let's say we wanted it to go off on the edge like so, and then we'll make a branch go out this way, maybe go up a little bit, and then another branch off to this side. And now what we can do is we'll make a selection over here. Let's actually put a couple more blocks down. We can make a selection, let's say right here, and then we'll do in chat / position 2. And now that we have our selection, we can actually do the replace command, and we'll target the wool, which is 35, and then we can replace it with wood. And let's do the all-sided wood texture, which is 1712. And now we have this nice little wood, I guess, branches of a tree without adding any leaves, and it just makes building, because you can't actually build and put this block in your inventory, so it makes it a lot easier to build with not the wood block and then come back afterwards and change it by using the replace command to a wood block. So there's definitely a lot more you can do with the set command and the replace command. That's just my way of doing it, like to speed up my building process. So if there's anything else you guys think you guys would like to do with it, definitely try it out. I love experimenting with World Edit, and there's still World Edit commands that I don't use or don't know that much about. So you guys should definitely do / World Edit or / WE help, and it gives you a list of all of the World Edit commands, and you can just go page 1, then you can go to page 2, and you can kind of explore what every single one of those do. And now lastly, I want to show you guys how to make floating islands in like all of 5 minutes. This is like the coolest thing ever. You can build, I guess, floating islands that are super organic just by using World Edit. It's so simple, and when I learned this tip, I loved it. I actually utilized this tip on building, I think it was my Preston Plays McLaren parkour map. The island that's in that was used, I used this technique on a much larger scale to build that floating island. So what you're going to need for this is you're going to need an oak sapling, And then you're also going to need yourself some bone meal. I also would suggest just grabbing a building block as well, because what we need for this is a large tree. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to put the sapling in the middle, and then what I'm going to do is just kind of build up around the sapling to be able to force it to be more or less a big tree. So now we're going to bone meal this. Oh, we didn't get it. So we'll keep trying this until we get a big tree. So now you can see we got ourselves a nice big tree. So what I suggest to do is kind of find more or less the center. It doesn't have to be the exact center, but like right about here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to use the cylinder command that we used earlier, and we're going to do sand, and then we're going to do a radius of what's larger than the tree. So I'm just going to go with like 5, and then it's going to go like that. And I guess that wasn't a big enough radius, so we'll do it again. We'll go 7. And now that should cover the entire tree, and it's going to look something like this. And now what we need to do is we need to select this entire area. So we're going to put a position here, and then we're going to go all the way over here, and we're going to select another position. And now we're going to use our replace command to replace the grass and the leaf block. So I think the leaves are 18, and I believe wood is 17. So we're going to do / replace 18 with sand, and then we're going to do the same for 17 with sand. And now you're probably kind of seeing the shape that we were looking for. This kind of looks like I guess a floating island upside down. And so right now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take your sand and kind of mold it a little bit more, because what we're going to do after we mold it to the perfection that we want it, we're going to flip it the other way around, and it's going to look absolutely insane. So we're just kind of smooth it out by hand to the point that we think it looks good, and it shouldn't take much. I mean, this technique really does a lot of the work for you. So now we've got more or less a shape that we like. We'll put a couple more blocks here and there, and then what we're going to do is we're going to change this to stone, and then we're going to flip it all the way up to there. So once we have a shape that we like, what we're going to do is we're going to do / replace sand with stone, and it's going to change it to stone, and then we're going to need to go ahead and copy again. So we're going to try to copy as close to the edge as we can. So we're going to select here, which selects that way and this way, and then we're going to go all the way up here, kind of right about here-ish, and then we're going to go position 2, and then what we're going to do is we're going to do / copy on the very tip of this part, and then we're going to do rotate, do 0, which is not rotating the y-axis, then 180, which is rotating the x-axis, and then 0 so it doesn't rotate the z-axis. And then what you're going to do is just paste it, and it's going to paste it directly above you, straight up, and look at that. We already have a really nice floating island. And there's still going to be parts that you're not going to like, that you're not going to think are perfect, and that's when you can go back in by hand and just replace this stuff with stone, and it should be pretty easy. By now you have basically the chunk of the build that is already done, because you use the world edit commands to do that. And so what I do is I kind of just now delete what's underneath by doing a selection there, and then doing another selection over here, and then we'll just cut it out. And now what we can do is we continue to use that command of the cylinder, and we'll actually go above it. So we'll do cylinder, sand, and then we'll do a radius of probably like 8, and then we'll do probably a radius of 1 for the height. And now what we can do is we can try to change this again. We'll do even a smaller cylinder, so we'll do like 4, and then we'll do like 1. And now it kind of gives a little bit of variant of height. And then what we can do is we can do a position selection again. So we'll do position 1 right here, and then we'll fly over here, and then we'll do position number 2 a little bit lower, and then we'll replace the sand with grass, and boom. We have the quickest floating island that you've ever done in Minecraft. Obviously, again, this isn't perfect. You're going to have to go back and do a lot of different block selections. So you're just going to want to change up things like this, change that. Maybe we'll just take all this out and change this to grass. Or maybe you even want to go in here and grab some coarse dirt, and then you want to go down here and just kind of change things up. That's all things that you can do, but by using world edit, you get the base shape down super quick, and then you can go back and minutely change all of the details. And I just love that about world edit, because it makes the build so much quicker. So I hope that was helpful. I hope you guys learned a couple quick things, because when I first started building, if I had known these things and known about world edit, it would have made me progress in building a lot quicker, because just being able to get builds done faster means that you can complete more builds and you can learn a lot more things because you're building more often. So that's why I love World Edit, because I can build a massive build within like half or maybe a third of the time it would take me to do it by hand. So let me know, guys, if you guys learned anything down below, or if there's things that you think other people should know or things I didn't cover. I know I didn't cover every single World Edit tip in this video. I just kind of gave out a couple quick ones that I use all the time to make massive builds. If you guys want me to try to do another one of these with a couple more tips, definitely also let me down below, because there is more out there that I know of and there's more that I can help you guys utilize, and this is just me showing you, again, just a couple quick ones that I use on a regular basis. But if you guys did enjoy today's video, definitely show your support down below, and while you're down there, guys, might as well hit that subscribe button. But as always, guys, I love you all. See you guys next time. Peace out.